DreAllDay.com.
Dre Baldwin, workonyourgameuniversity.com. I was on a lot the other day. Somebody said DreUniversity.com, which did not exist, but then I said, no, that's a good idea. So we went and got that too. So now you can go to DreUniversity.com. Topic here today is diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. We know this term has been weaponized a lot. Of course, with Donald Trump coming back in the presidency, a lot of people arguing about it. And of course, you have black folks, a lot of black people saying that when someone says DEI, what they really mean is black, so they're using it as a code word, kind of as a pejorative to talk about black people. I want to tell you, I've already done a lot talking about DEI in long form, but I want to do a short form on DEI. First of all, to tell you where I stand on it, and actually let me tell you how people are using this and why it matters, and then I'll tell you where I stand on it. So first of all, people are using this DEI thing. It seems people are trying to use it from both sides. So you get a lot of black and brown people saying that DEI was necessary because a lot of white people would hire their friends or people who look like them who may not necessarily have been qualified, quote unquote, qualified for a job just because they were white and they wanted to help out another white person, so it was excluding black people. So DEI basically forced companies to have to bring in black and brown people and increase the pool of candidates for a job, and these people were all always qualified, et cetera, et cetera. That's what they're saying about DEI. The way it has been used and abused now is that a lot of people are looking at DEI as some form of handout given to people who may not have necessarily earned their positions. I think the truth is a mix of both of those. Yes, there are some people who may have been excluded from job opportunities that they were quote unquote qualified for. That's a tricky term because the word qualified is a very subjective term. It changes based on who is doing the choosing and what standards that person or organization chooses to enforce. So there's no black and white way to really qualify a person unless there are objective measures. And a lot of times those measures are not objective, those measures are subjective, which means they can change and they differ from person to person. So calling yourself qualified doesn't really mean anything if you really think about it, because it changes. If the boss of the Fortune 500 company is one person today, 6 months from now is a different boss, they may change the standards. So what made you qualified 6 months ago does not make you qualified today. So again, it doesn't really mean much. But anyway, the other thing about DEI is that it also led to companies doing things like, hey, we cannot hire a white person, we cannot hire a man, we have to hire a gay person or a woman or a black person. We know that this is how it works. And this is the reason why people who push back against DEI on this basis of kind of like a reverse form of racism, they have a legitimate claim. And the people with the other claim, they have a legitimate claim too. So that's why this argument is always ongoing, because there's no black and white, quote unquote, right answer to the whole point. Personally, I'm not a fan of DEI because my background is in professional sports and in entrepreneurship, two areas in which you cannot get an opportunity just based on DEI. I mean, notwithstanding LeBron James' son, who is a DEI NBA player, but you see the results when he gets on the court, right? In sports, you get on the court or the field or the track, if you can't play and somebody just puts you in because you know the right person, it's going to be obvious and you're going to get exposed very quickly and you won't be playing. And other aspects of sports on the field, again, there is no DEI. Now in coaching, management, that's a different world. Coaching and management are basically corporate in the sports world. That's not playing. So when I say sports, I mean the actual athletes, not any other job. And also, I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship, there's no DEI. You can't DEI your way into entrepreneurship. You choose yourself. So there's no qualification because nobody has to approve of you when you're not trying to get a job. So the world that I come from, I never needed DEI, never wanted DEI, and therefore nothing I've done is based on diversity, equity, and inclusion. Somebody was asking about this on social media the other day, and I told them the same thing I'm telling you, the same thing I've been telling people for years. As far as this whole concept of DEI goes, I would say if you are working in corporate and you happen to be black, brown, gay, or female, and the company has to or has decided that they have to hire somebody who fits your description just because they're following DEI principles, well, hey, take the job. You want to make some money? Are you going to get the job? Why not? Who wouldn't take it? I would take it. If they're going to give it to me just because of my immutable characteristics, I will take the job and I will take the money and I won't apologize for it. And what the duality that I'm finding is that you get a lot of black and brown people who will say this and say, oh, well, they had to do it because they were always excluding people. But then when they get accused of being a DEI hire, they're taking it as like some form of offense, or they're going to the cop out of, well, they had to do it. Well, which one is it? Are you a qualified person who just needed DEI to get your chance, or are you a bum who never would have got a chance if it wasn't for DEI? All right, just admit it. Whichever role you want to play that role. All right, play your position. If that's the position that you want to play, doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you, but play your role. I just don't like when people front and they want to play both sides of it. And this duality that people like to use in a lot of aspects of life, where they want to claim that they want to claim the strong, tough, unassailable side on one end, depending on how the conversation goes. Then the conversation goes another way. They want to claim the victim, the righteousness, and claim the moral high ground. And it's the same thing that's happening with DEI. So on one side is, I was always good, it just needed to help me out. And the other side is, I was not a DEI hire, I'm just really good at what I do. It doesn't matter. Which one is it? Just pick your side. And again, if I was working in the corporate world, or any type of bureaucracy where DEI got me promoted and it got me a pay raise, well, shit, I'm taking the money. I'm taking the promotion. And I would happily admit that I'm a DEI hire. The thing is, if you went around asking people, are you a DEI hire? Are you a DEI? Are you DEI? Almost nobody would admit to it. Yet everybody says how much we need it and how much has been necessary and how much it's, and then black people say, well, it helped more white women than it helped black people. Well, which one is it? Is it working or is it not? Are you DEI? Are you a DEI hire or are you not? Anybody listens to this, you want to admit that you're a DEI hire? Please put it in the comments that I'm a DEI hire, and tell me where you worked, what was happening before, and what happened now that you got hired based on DEI. I haven't heard anybody admit to it, yet everybody's talking about it. So somebody help me make sense of this. Everybody's talking about how DEI is so needed, yet nobody admits to actually being a beneficiary of it. Every black person, at least, black people, everybody's pointing the finger at somebody else, at somebody white, somehow, some way. The beneficiaries are the ones forced to use it, yet nobody's a DEI hire. Now, any of you know a DEI hire who admits that they're a DEI hire and they're proud of it? I haven't come across one person yet. So if you know somebody, let me know. All that said, folks, DreUniversity.com. Also, workonyourgameuniversity.com. That's where you get direct coaching from me. Work on your game. Dre all day.